Girls in real estate, girls in real estate. Oh, where we gone for happy hour?
Hello everyone, this is Bees in Business. I'm Brenda.
And I'm Beth,
And we're coming to you from
Tycoon Media Lounge.
Girls in real estate, girls in real estate. Oh, where we gone for happy hour?
Hi, I'm Beth.
And I'm Brenda. Welcome back to Bees in Business. Today's guest is someone who knows what it takes to lead major city shaping projects and do it with vision, strategy, and style. We're joined by Andrew Sun, the newly appointed CEO of District Wharf Properties, the team behind one of DC's most iconic mixed-use developments, the Wharf.
Over the past 6 years, Andrew has risen through the ranks, starting as Vice President of Asset Management and now stepping into the CEO role just as the Wharf enters a new era with major ownership transitions. Under his leadership, the destination continues to thrive as a living, breathing community that blends retail, entertainment, dining, and waterfront living.
Andrew was recently named the Washington Business Journal's 40 Under 40 class of 2025, a well-deserved honor recognizing his leadership in commercial real estate and his impact on the region's skyline and economy.
We're going to talk about his journey, the behind the scenes of running a place that draws millions every year, and what's next for the Wharf as it evolves with new ownership and growing expectations.
Let's get into it. Andrew, thank you for
Welcome.
joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Brenda.
So tell us about yourself. 40 under 40, I mean, CEO.
Oh yeah, thank you for the recognition. Yeah, I've been in DC for 16 years now, working only in real estate, and I've been very lucky to work for some of the blue chip companies in the region. Most recently with the Wharf, but also with Federal Realty Investment Trust, RLJ Lodging Trust, JLL, JBG Smith, and so in my very short career, I feel very fortunate that um, you know it's all culminated in helping lead the Wharf team.
I love it.
Yeah, no. Where were you before, if you don't mind me asking, before DC?
Before DC, I was in college.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you've been in DC since
Like my entire professional career has been in DC in real estate.
you've seen it go through some massive changes. Like,
Indeed, yeah.
yeah.
When I moved here, the Wharf didn't exist, and so
Yeah.
a lot of changes indeed.
So excited to talk about it.
Girls in real estate.
You've been with the Wharf for over 6 years and recently stepped into the CEO role. What initially drew you to this project, and how has your perspective evolved over time?
Sure. Well, that's a great question. Before the Wharf, I was with JBG Smith. I was VP of Asset Management,
Mm-hmm.
and I led a portfolio of retail and mixed-use projects that were in some of JBG's legacy funds, assets that are contributed to the JBGS REIT, and also third-party properties. And in addition to a lot of I guess more not a special like shopping center properties. I also had some of the more complex mixed use stuff, including Crystal City and Pentagon City, now known as National Landing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for my 2 years there, I got to be a part of a a larger team
Yeah.
that pitched and ultimately won the Amazon HQ2 bid. I had a very modest role in running the real estate, the retail real estate,
Mhm.
including paving a path towards redevelopment that was either going to be HQ2 should we win it,
Mhm.
or if we didn't win, sort of a different path.
Mhm.
And so very modest role, and it's certainly not, my name's not going to be in the headline anywhere, but I felt very lucky to be part of that team. One of the more revolutionary deals, real estate deals, like for our region that
Mhm.
that certainly happened in the past 10 years. So we're very happy to be part of that. But there's one project that was at the time like bigger and cooler in my mind,
Mhm.
and the Wharf was that. So this was in 2019, so a year and a half after the first phase of the Wharf developed, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the Wharf, wasn't complete. Phase two was slated to begin that year, 2019.
Mhm.
And so when I had an opportunity to go interview for the opportunity to head asset management for the Wharf, I jumped at it. I should note that that job was originally with Madison Marquette,
Uh-huh.
who is co-GP and co-developers with Hoffman Associates. Sort of like
Okay.
those two entities are sort of like known as the, primary developers of the Wharf. And so my original role in my first couple of years was with Madison Marquette.
Gotcha.
So how would you say, like, now that you're a CEO, like, what is your leadership style?
Yeah, that's it's a relatively new role. I should note that I was the president of District Wharf Properties. I've been for a couple of years. So new CEO role, but that was really more of like a title change. My primary responsibility is running the organization.
Hmm.
Started a couple of years ago. That being said, I am 38 years old, and so like I feel like it'd be incorrect to assume that like my entire leadership style has been like cemented. Like no, it's evolving. Um,
I think that's what it should be, though.
Yeah.
Right?
I should hope so. Yeah, to think that like you're not going to change. I'm going to be doing this for a long time. First, there's a recognition that leadership style will change, but
Hmm.
I have learned a lot, sort of like through the last 16 years, through my 6 years at the Wharf, such that I've like picked up certain sort of I've learned a lot, being a leader, and so like a few of the things that I've learned is that um, I may have a lot of people working for me, 32 full-time employees at the Wharf, not including hourly workers, and certainly not including the 700 or so employees that work through our management companies that ultimately report up through us.
Hmm.
But like you are mostly working for other people, which is like a common misconception. Like I wake up every morning thinking about how we're going to pay the employees,
Hmm.
what sort of benefits that we're going to offer, how that changes over time. And so you've got stakeholders that are, not in your organization, but are important, including
Yeah.
government officials. And so I feel like the one thing I've learned is that you work for a lot of other people, even though you sort of have responsibility of management. Um, I've had to learn that I can't. I'm not an expert in everything. So
Yeah.
I was an expert in asset management and finance, like
Hmm.
capital markets, for real estate. I ran that department for 4 years at the Wharf, Madison Marquette, and then the Wharf. And like, running a department after running a portfolio is not that different. And so that was like a relatively easy shift. But now I've got an accounting team that reports to me, accounting, treasury, and tax team. I've
Mhm.
got an operations team and I run an office now, and so
Yeah.
uh, you just can't be an expert at everything. And I think
Mhm.
that is that's something that like you sort of learn the hard way. Like it's a goal of mine to like manage my time better. It's like
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can't focus only on the things that I was doing. I've got
Yeah.
stakeholders, employees who do very important things. So a couple of sort of like lessons learned in my short time running the enterprise.
Yeah. Don't we all wish we could manage our time better? What has been the most surprising lesson or challenge since becoming CEO this year?
Yeah. Um, I guess continuing to learn like the other fields that I wasn't an expert in before.
Hmm.
And we're on the cusp of doing a reorganization within our company.
Okay.
And so you've got new leaders who are stepping up. And so I
Mhm.
guess like I guess sort of the evolution of the organizations like tend to evolve, and like we're in like that phase. So like we're working through it, and I'm learning a lot about sort of like how to manage people and like manage like super high performing
Yeah.
teams and executives who like have tenure longer than me. It's like how do you
Yeah.
4/7 that role? And so
Yeah.
like finding that nice balance of you know being a boss that can um support
Mhm.
and lead, but like not like dictate sort of day to day.
Hmm. That makes
That
sense.
sounds like a cool boss.
Yeah.
Like how do I
I hope so.
how do I maintain a level of respect, but also be one of the people,
Yeah.
right?
Indeed, you just
Yeah.
can't micromanage. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
the organization is like too big. I mean,
Mhm.
our 32 person organization, it's like it's relatively small, and yet like the things that people are working on are so big.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's literally impossible to micromanage, and so like that level of trust, I would make it's akin to, so if you're in real estate or like finance or consulting, you start your career like as an analyst, like building financial models and like presentations and like writing memos and stuff,
Hmm.
and like you get really good at it. I mean, you
Yeah.
get a lot of reps. And so like for me, I always thought of myself as like analyst extraordinaire. It's like I knew it was in the models. And
Yeah.
so
Right.
when you get a direct report and you have like a new analyst reporting to you, say when you're an associate or VP or what have you, it's like you have to learn how to trust that what's in those models is right, even if you didn't do it yourself.
Yeah.
And that's a big hurdle.
Hmm.
And like it's like that being CEO, but like at a much bigger scale, because
Grander level.
now
Yeah.
it's like we're gonna have like a 97,000 person event at the Wharf. Like I certainly can't manage that.
Yeah.
And so you gotta trust. And so yeah, it's a lot of like learning, a lot of lessons learned in my short time in this role.
So, congratulations again on being named Washington Business Journal's 40 Under 40 class of 2025. What does that recognition mean to you personally?
First, I'm very honored to be recognized as part of Washington Business Journal's 40 Under 40 class of 2025. For every year they come up with this list, and
Mm.
I think back like 15 years ago. It's like I think I would like to be recognized like that one day. So in a lot of ways, sort of this recognition this year is like realizing a dream that I had a long time ago. So personally, so that's really great. For many years now, I always wondered, um, it's very. I would love to have been honored, but like, you don't want to like apply and then get rejected. And so, this year felt right to actually put an application. So
Yeah.
we were lucky, like personally, for the recognition. Professionally, I think it's even more important.
Mhm.
So even more than my own professional recognition, I have used the last couple of years, first as president, now CEO of District Wharf Properties, to try and get the name of the company out there.
Mhm.
Now, I think when people think about the Wharf, they've historically thought appropriately that about Hoffman Associates, Madison Marquette,
Yeah.
of course, my former company. Things are different now, and so recognizing that was happening was a big effort of mine to get out there and get our name out there. District Court Properties is a standalone organization with our own HR, with our own IT,
Mhm.
and so the 40 under 40 recognition, which we sort of like doubled up with ads that we purchased,
Yeah.
was a way to kind of get our name out there. And so
Mhm.
it's one of the many things you'll see, like us doing in sort of public facing.
Mhm.
So great for me personally, great for the organization professional, like for me professionally and for the organizational writ large. So feel very honored.
I think that was one of the foundations of this podcast itself
Yep.
is like sort of the people, the guests such as yourself that we have and Beth and I. It's a platform for putting, recognizing people, but also like branding ourselves.
Yeah, promoting ourselves,
we had
promoting my
thoughts.
company, promoting her company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I think this is a great forum to do it, and I appreciate appreciate you bringing me on.
We
Thank you.
appreciate you for coming.
Yes.
Goes in real estate.
Diving back in. So the Wharf, it's one of DC's most iconic destinations. I would say it's the iconic.
Yeah.
Like that's what I would tell people. It's like, what do you want to do
That's
today?
great.
Like you got to go to the Wharf, right? From your perspective, what makes it truly unique? Not just physically, but in terms of culture and community.
Yeah, the physical element is obviously a big component of it. It's effectively irreplaceable. Like,
Mhm.
mile of waterfront, like you
Mm.
control so much of the water. Like it just like dominates the cityscape. Like
Yeah.
like as you're driving
Driving
in the
in,
city.
yeah.
So like that's irreplaceable. I think what makes it unique beyond that is the harmony of all the uses.
Mhm.
We've got we've got all the major sort of like food groups in real estate sort of covered. You got retail that dominates the first floor of all the buildings, about
Mhm.
300,000 feet. You have 904 apartments. You've got several hundred condos that we've built and sold over the years.
Mm.
So we've got a big residential community. We've got 4 hotels on site that we own.
Mhm.
You've got the Anthem, a 6,000 person concert hall that hosts some like 120 performance events a year, which is like
Yeah.
a big draw. Um, We've got 1 million feet of office. Jeez, we've got 1 million feet of office. Some of the best performing office in the city.
Mhm.
And then you've
That's where
got some
people
like the
wanna
others. Right?
Said that's where people want to be.
Oh yeah,
They're
yeah.
coming back to
We've
the
been very fortunate. And we've got marina. We've got 400 boat slips, of which we sort of control, a great number of them. And so it's the harmony of all the uses.
Mhm.
In mixed use real estate, you try to achieve 18 hours a day of like activity,
Mhm.
7 days a week, and everybody, all developers out there try to like achieve that. I
Mhm.
think the Wharf is maybe the best representation of that, like out there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so you've got, the harmony of all the uses. So like in the mornings, like obviously the office buildings are full because we've got 1 million feet of office,
Mhm.
plurality office project. And then, as the day shifts, it's like the office workers leave,
Mhm.
and then sort of the restaurant consumers or the concert goers descend on the site.
Mhm.
And sort of like interspersed and all that is your hotel guests. So, it's a harmony of all the uses. I think that's what makes us unique. Not just like that there are different uses, that it's been managed and very, very purposely sort of programmed in such a way that it creates the closest to 18 hours a day, 7 days a week that you can possibly get. So I think the execution, kudos to the Wharf team for it, everything they do. It's like that's what makes us unique.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the events, like the Bloomeroo Cherry Blossom event. I mean,
Yes.
there's like a legit fireworks show
Oh,
like,
totally.
that
Yeah.
happens, and it goes on for almost 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah. It's
And
pretty
it's
special.
impressive. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I go out of my way. Like, and this year we actually got a bunch of friends together. And we did a picnic and we watched it, and it was like, no, yeah, this is they do this every year.
Yeah, that's really great. I'm glad you went and saw it. This year, Bloomeroo, which is our marquee cherry blossom event, was March 29th. There were 97,000 people at the Wharf
Oh my
in one
gosh.
day.
Yeah, you can
97,000.
feel that.
Yeah, you can certainly feel it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like it sort of culminated in like a big fireworks show.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. But I should note that we have a lot of these mega events,
Uh-huh.
including running the Chihuahuas, which was
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
yeah, it's our Cinco de Mayo event. So we have
That's so fun.
Chihuahua
love that.
races, like sort of culminate in like one Chihuahua champion.
It's so cute.
Yeah, and so like
How many
parade-
people attended that?
usually around 65,000
Okay.
people,
That's awesome.
which is
That is
full.
so
That's
many
pretty
people.
pretty
Yeah.
cool. The Bloomeroo
Chihuahua
event is
race.
like
It's pretty crazy.
exceptional.
Yeah.
I would say that we are one of a very few number of organizations in the region that can draw that many people
Mhm.
on site,
Mhm.
with a little bit of notice. Obviously, the
Yeah.
Commanders,
Mhm.
their stadium fits some 68,000 people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You got the Nationals, and then really beyond that, it's us. I mean, we hold these mega events. We have 100 free events a year. Which a combination of these mega events, and some of the things that we're doing this summer, and we have for the last couple of summers, is a summer series where you've got Wednesdays live music,
Yeah.
Thursdays movies at the Wharf, and then Fridays is dancing. So we are programming this thing constantly. It feels seamless,
Mhm.
but like behind the scenes, like
Yeah.
there's a machine behind it.
Yeah.
So appreciate you mentioning Bloomeroo.
No,
Yeah.
especially like on that deck where the stage is, the outdoor, like that was packed.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
I was like, oh, like this, we're on a pier right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we that is like the one place where we can have like people sort of amass, and we spent a lot of money, over six figures this past winter, redoing the deck.
Mhm.
It should have lasted a lot longer, but it gets a lot of use, and so we just spent a lot of money reinvesting in it.
Mhm.
There aren't, we control 17 acres of public space at the Wharf, which
Mhm.
includes like the piers, and so the piers are a big element of it.
Yeah.
Goes in real estate.
so, on this show, we like
Mhm.
to ask all of our guests for a little bit of scoop, something that's not readily out there
Yeah.
that people don't know. But is there anything you can share with us?
In terms of scoop, that's a good question. I wouldn't necessarily call it a scoop, but we do have a couple of large debt facilities
Okay.
at the Wharf. In 2019, in June of 2019, we executed an $800 million permanent loan led by Wells Fargo and five member banks, and a mezzanine loan with Blackstone, combined $800 million. That was the biggest single property loan in DC history.
Wow.
In October, no, that's June of 2019. In October of 2019, we did a construction financing, $847 million for our phase two construction. That was a Goldman-led bank group. And so that became the most expensive loan in DC history.
Wow.
Both loans are actually sort of like in maturity, like will mature this year. And so, could be that once this episode airs, we will announce potentially a over $1 billion refinance on the Wharf, which I suspect will certainly be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, new property loan in DC history.
That's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, so that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But we'll see. A lot of things have to click into place. But
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah, so over $1 billion, maybe the potential of the largest deal for the DC area, or if not one of the top. But it is a rather desirable asset, right? Given everything that you've said. But how does that, like in this particular economic climate, how does that financing that debt look like?
yeah, so what's unique about what this facility will be, if it does come to pass this year,
Mm-hmm.
is that it's not going to be a traditional like balance sheet loan, like the bank loans you money and then it sits on their balance sheet.
Mhm.
It's this facility will be a commercial mortgage backed security,
Okay.
a CMBS loan, and that CMBS loan is in a unique would be further unique in that it would be a single asset, single borrower loan.
Okay.
This type of loan is very unique in DC. In fact, I think City Center was the last one to do it, and that was like a couple years ago.
Mhm.
But like these are the facilities that like big New York City skyscrapers. That's how they're financed, and
Oh
so
wow.
that's like that would fall into that pool. So relatively unique for the DC market,
Mhm.
and so like that makes the universe of borrower or lenders actually like quite a bit different. So instead of like, uh, like with our phase one loan by way of example, like our loan is sitting on the balance sheets of Wells Fargo and Morgan Stanley and
Mhm.
like several other institutions. Um, basically the new loan, should it come to pass, will be sort of split into different bonds, and those bonds are then sold off
Okay.
to like various like lenders, and so
Mhm.
it is substantially different. It has enabled us to tap into a different capital markets like base than we have in the past, which I suspect is part of the reason why like sort of like we are look well, it is a reason why we're looking at it like it's more viable like now relative than say doing like a traditional debt financing.
Yeah.
But
A
we're
little
not
bit
looking
nuanced there.
into tokenization of that just yet, are we?
Sorry.
I said we're not looking into tokenizing that real estate just yet, are we?
Like yeah, and like I feel like a Wharf coin.
Yeah, why not? I
No
feel
Wharf coin yet. No.
that's what like the foundation of that is. I mean, that is the future. So it's like I just it's a little joke, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of firms who like maybe not on the debt side, but certainly on the equity side of like Fundrise or like being an example of like
Mhm.
crowdsourcing real estate investments. I don't know. Like
no,
I've only worked for like big companies, but like yeah, I guess there's no reason why it can't work.
Yeah.
right.
Goes in real estate.
So the original development team faced hundreds of stakeholder meetings and legislative hurdles. What lessons from that chapter do you still apply today as a steward of the project's future?
That's a really good question. It's like one of the unique things about sort of like the Wharf is like the great efforts that the original developers um like put forward to like get community engagement.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, realistically, we don't need to do that sort of thing anymore. The
Okay.
project is built,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a good question in that it is something that I have been like, in the 2 years that I served as president or CEO of District Court Properties, I've been trying to rehash some of those original, um, I guess, sort of like reach outs to the community. And so
Mhm.
like, I mean, just last Monday, I stood in front of the ANC 60 at our local ANC commissioners, like giving an update. And, I'm on a bit of a goodwill tour right now, trying to get out there because I think that as we head into this very sort of unique time, in sort of our part of the real estate cycle, that like having allies is good. And so, no, it's not necessary. It's certainly where we are, sort of like a fully built out project, but I am investing a lot of time in it, whether it's our local ANC, whether it's like elected, council members. So a lot of reach outs and communication with the council members, with the deputy mayor's office and DEMPED. And so like all this is very important. We're all like everybody in DC sort of like going through what we're going through right now. Like we all need to row in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
And so like those lessons from the early days are what I'm sort of like employing now, with under the guise of sort of district court properties, not under the original developers. And like with the sort of new slate of leaders of the Wharf, I'm sort of like leading that charge. But the goal is that my people sort of all step up, leaders not only in the real estate community but also in the local community as well, and that's important for us.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How do you define your role in maintaining continuity while also innovating for what's next?
That is also a really good question. I would say that is my role.
Okay.
Is trying to find that balance between
Mhm.
like continuity and the new thing,
Mhm.
right? Like if like there are a lot of folks who are like ideas folks, and
Mm-hmm.
that's great. Like you need ideas. The problem, and I've sort of mentioned before, is you can't like jump at every good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we are a big organization. I mean, small number of people, but like it's a big organization. It
Mhm.
takes a lot to sort of like start something new, and so like like being sort of the gatekeeper is probably the wrong way to put it. It's negative, but like you know continuing to do the things that have made us successful,
Mhm.
and while encouraging the proliferation of new ideas so that we can stay ahead of the curve. Like that's a great question because like I
Yeah.
would say like that literally is my job.
Right. So it's like being a trendsetter, but being meticulous about what trend you're going to push next.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. Like being the first mover is not always the best thing to do,
Mhm.
especially when you have like a project that has been so successful.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Girls in real estate.
If you could give any advice to someone looking to lead and manage a project of this scale, what would you say?
Yeah, that's um so I'm gonna look at my own experience because and my experience is not gonna be everyone's experience. For me, what made me successful and sort of like getting to where I am is like becoming like an expert in a part of the field. So like once you get to sort of like real estate executive, like a lot of things report underneath you. And for me, and I sort of mentioned this earlier in the conversation, but like I became an expert like building performance, like being the financial modeler.
Yeah.
And so like knowing your financial models like the back of your hand, training other people to build financial models, like ultimately like leading negotiations. Like I became an expert in one of the fields, ran a department, and that enabled me to. It's like now I've got a lot of different sort of functions that report up to me, but the one thing I don't have to like spend time like honing my abilities on necessarily is sort of that one element. So I don't know. For me, I came up through the track of like finance, analyst, like investment development
Mhm.
world. And that worked for me. It's not going to be for everybody else.
Yeah.
Problem is these mixed use developments are so complicated
Yeah.
that like there's so many different paths you can take.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like something like the Wharf where you have so many different uses, like you're not going to be successful. You can't run that enterprise if you're like just a retail expert,
Yeah.
right? And so
Exactly.
like I have cobbled together over the years. So like in my experience, I did a lot of different things in my career at all these companies I've already talked about, and it was very purposeful. Like I very purposely didn't chase the money. Probably would have been a lot more wealthier if I did chase the money, but I didn't chase the money. I was chasing experiences.
Yeah.
And so like my 2 years at RLJ Lodging Trust, which is one of the largest publicly traded hospitality REITs out there, like that time was very important. It allowed me to learn a great deal about hotels,
Mm-hmm.
such that I can now oversee a portfolio of hotels.
Right.
It also got me like in deep on the finance side of the business.
Okay.
Which in like my time at Federal Realty, like I did a lot of like corporate bond stuff, but like didn't do like debt financings, and so like that time was very important. And so I guess like building on sort of what I've already said, it's like building your career like with different skill sets along. Become an expert in something, but you gotta get experience, like real experience in a lot of different fields to sort of like elevate. For me to elevate to this role, I sort of had to like get those different experiences. And so it was very purposeful. It's scary in a lot of ways because finding new opportunities and jobs is scary.
Yeah.
But
Change is scary. New is scary.
change is scary. But
Yeah.
for younger folks who are out there, I would say um, when you work for a company, like I feel like it's sort of like a balance, right? It's like
Mhm.
you get paid to do work,
Mm-hmm.
and the employer pays you and like receives work. But like I think of it as like a scale. Like when you start a job, like
Mhm.
especially if you're young, like it should work out in such a way that like the you are getting a better deal than the company because like you are learning a bunch of new things.
Yeah.
At some point, usually around 1 year in, it's like in my experience, it's like, oh, like now the company's getting a better job because I'm probably worth more
Yeah.
than what I'm getting paid. Then I'm worth more than what I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
And so like once that shifts, that it's probably time to either like grow within the role or find opportunities that can like you can grow professionally.
Yeah.
Like don't be scared about that because
Right.
when I joined the industry 2009, like a long time,
Mhm.
feels like a long time ago. Wasn't that long ago. Like there was a lot of consternation when like people like left jobs. It's like a lot of that has changed, especially since the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right.
And so like touring out is like not as crazy a thing as it used to be.
Mhm.
Now like as an employer, like I don't want people to like up and leave like
Yeah.
quickly, but I think that the onus is now on like also on an employer to like to keep to like make like for retention purposes, like, you have to work at it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's a long-winded answer, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, now jumping into the more fun side of things.
Yes.
Question for you is, what is your favorite hidden gem at the wharf that people always overlook?
Ah, so there's a lot of places you can spend money at the wharf.
Which is very good for you.
It's very good for us. Yes. So we got a lot of restaurants, so like and bars and what have you. I would say like the thing that people don't know is that there's some like peaceful places at the wharf. One of the piers is called District Pier. It's where all the sort of the major events. It's all wood and sort of the Chihuahua races happen. And at the end of it is the Dockmaster building. If you go on the other side of it, it is very calm. Like, yeah, and so sometimes I will like I will take my lunch out there, sitting in an Adirondack chair,
Yeah.
and just like watch the boats go by. It's like very, very peaceful.
Cute. Yeah.
And like if you want to go beyond that, the other hidden gem is that in the summertime we operate a free jitney boat that goes from the wharf across the channel to Haynes Point.
Uh-huh.
It's free.
That's cool.
And so you could park at Haynes Point because it's free,
Yeah,
and then
'cause
take
that's
the boat
far.
across.
Yeah.
I've done it.
Yeah, it's far.
Bloomeroo, I had to because the parking was just so crazy and like, well, actually, I don't know why, but that's how it ended up working out. We
Yeah.
parked over there to walk.
Yeah, and we were not running the jitney that day. But that is
Yeah.
also like a life hack.
Yeah.
If you park over there, you can take the jitney across and like take
Okay.
advantage of it. It's
Good to
also a good place to like look at the project. So if you have a picnic, you can like
Mhm.
sit and like watch the wharf
Mhm.
Yeah.
if you're into that.
I
kind of
love
thing.
the view of the wharf from
Yes.
Haynes Point.
Yes.
Haynes Point is a
Yeah.
great little secret spot. What is your go-to restaurant for someone who's a first-time visitor of the wharf?
Ah, that's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like Il Lily, which is
Okay.
a Lebanese restaurant, a
Yeah,
concept
been
that
there
we
yet.
drew from New York.
But-
Oh, it's really great.
Yeah.
Chef Philippe Massoud is like a total pro.
Nice.
And like the experience is really great. The fit out is amazing. The food is really great.
Mhm.
And I don't know if there's like there are not enough like Middle Eastern like high-end Middle Eastern restaurants in the city.
I
Yeah.
think that place is iconic just because of the placement where you guys put it. It's almost like it's a little bird cage in there.
It is, yeah.
I really like it. I really like
Thank
it.
you for noticing that. It's one of the few retail spaces that are standalone.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so like
It's my architecture backround that we didn't talk
Oh,
about.
that's
Yeah,
right.
so
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why I'm
yeah.
asking about all the
Yeah.
elements. Because I'm like, wait, tell me more about why
I-
this space feels so good.
I think it literally is very, very cool. And I'm gonna like pay tribute to Del Mar by Fabio Tribughi. It's like
Mhm.
I mean that's pretty special and
Yeah.
has been. Fabio is like sort of a celebrity chef, like
Mhm.
yeah, totally earned it, and like a DC establishment.
Yeah.
So Del Mar is like if you want to like really judge it up, like that is like you take folks to Del Mar.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Goes in real estate.
What is one word that you would use to describe the wharf 5 years from now?
What like my hope?
Yeah.
My hope is that people refer to it as iconic.
Oh,
And I
that's
think
That's our
I
word.
think
Yes.
I think it was already used to describe the wharf earlier, but I want it to be iconic.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that is my hope. Like
Yeah.
hopefully we achieved it, but like as I've said before, it's like we're not going to rest on our laurels. It's very important that like we continue to maintain sort of like the wharf as the
Mhm.
iconic
yes.
mixed use project
So
forever.
that
Yeah.
word has, a couple different meanings. You're describing the wharf as iconic, but we like to use that word on the show to describe our guests. Like we call
Yeah.
them icons.
Our icon.
Well,
So
that's-
you are our
that's very-
icon for the day.
That is very very generous. I don't know if I've earned it yet, but I endeavor
Nope,
to earn it.
you're
You
in.
definitely earned it. Another restaurant question. We like to ask these questions, the same two questions to all of our guests or icons. So I'm a big foodie. My question is always, what is your favorite restaurant in DC and what's your go-to meal? But for you specifically, I'm gonna have to say minus the restaurants in the wharf.
Well, that's hard because like all 50 or so restaurants are my favorite restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you have some of the best ones in the city.
You do.
I'm going
yeah.
I'm going
but-
to mention one that like I'm sure none of your other guests will mention.
Okay.
So in the DC area,
Mhm.
there's a restaurant called Cogieville in Centerville, Virginia, which is
Okay.
pretty far out there.
Yeah.
I was
but-
yesterday.
In Centerville?
Yeah, I stopped by a Duck Donuts. But
Oh,
I
great.
thought you were gonna say at that specific
No,
restaurant. I
no,
was like, no way.
no, in Centerville.
Yeah.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's very rare because
Yeah.
Centerville's like pretty far out there. But
Yeah.
it's a great Korean barbecue joint.
Nice.
It's like paying homage to my Korean heritage. I think there's some really great great sort of like Korean establishments and like,
Mhm.
I'd love to get to a place like whether it's at the Wharf or other projects, hopefully later in the future,
Mhm.
where like we can sort of like introduce like different types of concepts, like
Yeah.
into the city. Korean barbecue is something that I've like wanted to do at the Wharf for a while now. We just
So good.
Yeah.
haven't found the right opportunity. But Kogieville, Centerville, really
What's
great.
your
Strong
favorite
recommend.
Korean barbecue dish?
I like a brisket.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yes.
brisket. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking my language.
I'm from Texas, so you can't.
Well, you're from Texas.
Brisket's
Yeah.
like a staple.
Yeah.
Sliced real thin.
Yeah.
And like you dip it in some sesame oil with some
Removing all
like,
the fat.
but
I don't.
that's
I
the
don't
best
like
part.
fat. Yeah. No,
Oh, that's the best
yeah.
part.
I can't. It's just too chewy for me. I'm like,
Oh, I
"Oh,
love
just,
it.
Like cut that off.
Yeah.
So, and my question
Mhm.
to our guests, to our icons,
Yeah.
is always, and I will. You can pick a place at the Wharf if you like, but what would you say is your favorite spot to, where you can grab a nice cocktail and it's a vibe? What would be?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to select. So I am I'm like more of like a dive bar kind of guy.
Okay.
Mm.
We don't really have dive bars at the Wharf,
Yeah.
but one place that we recently opened is
Street is kind of.
Pearl Street is great, and to like know, it's great. Like love the live music.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The place where I like to go is recently is Whitlow's at the Wharf.
Oh.
Obviously, Whitlow's being like an establishment in the DC
Is that
area.
the Whit like the
It's like
thing
the same Whitlow's
Oh,
from like
you guys have
Clarendon.
that up there?
Oh yeah. So it replaced the Brighton. Yeah. So
I've
like
seen the boat on the water.
yeah. So
The Whitlows on the water.
that's right. Yeah. And so now you have a Whitlow's at the Wharf, and so like that's sort of like currently my like location for happy hours. Like strong recommend. Great happy hour specials. Like total DC
Made
establishment.
it out of like Clarendon. Like it was just tucked away over there, and now it's expanded into
Yeah, I mean, it's
DC.
like at the
It was a
Wharf
good
now.
Move.
Yeah, like strong recommend.
Moving on
It's like,
up,
it's
yeah.
a great experience and like super low key. I'm not really into like the fancy cocktails. I'm more of like a grab a pint kind of guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
thank you for joining us
Yeah,
today.
thank you.
It's fun learning about what you do and
Mhm.
diving in deeper about the Wharf and
Yeah.
like
One of the most interesting places in all of DC.
iconic.
Iconic, exactly.
Thank you so much,
Well,
Andrew.
thank you, Beth. Thank you, Brenda, for having me. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed my time here.
Awesome.
We did it.
Nice.
That's it. It's a wrap.
Awesome.
What did you think? You feel good?
I think it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.